operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows.
To you who are trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
Guns.
I'm Dave Cordero. I'm captain of the Reapout KOTE team. The deck that I'm playing today is Kardath, Illustrator of Markets, which belongs to Flaming Hobo on our team. I think it's his best deck. It's a really sweet deck. Has a lot of stuff going on with it. Yeah, yesterday we did a couple. I think I ran it 3 times. I won all 3. I'm feeling pretty confident since we won all 3 of the practice matches with this deck. And then I also, I don't know how much practice Devin did with Sultana, but I also, because Sultana's my deck, I also did a practice match versus Gorlami when I was playing Sultana and he was playing Thor, which was their deck. And the decks, Kardath and Sultana have a lot of similar things going on. It's just, do you want like the recursive dis or like just really good Dino board stuff? So I feel like the matchup's going to be similar in a lot of ways, and I also won those matches. So I feel like it's just probably a good matchup all around, with or without bouncing blasters.
Hi, my name is Dominic. I'm from KTH's Keyforge team, as you could see. And today I will be doing a deconstruction, this time without my colleague here. I will be doing it alone, but it will be still a lot of fun. This week we'll be doing a deconstruction for the matches between Reapout team and Faremo. So the first deconstruction, the first matchup, it will be a matchup of the captains. So as you could see on the left side, we have a beautiful 89 SAS deck from the Reapout captain. It's Kardath, the Illustrator of the Market, and on the other side we would see Faremo captain's deck, and it's Thor Il Grigio, and the rest I will leave to your pronunciation, because I would butcher it as I usually butcher all these names. Okay, so let's take a look. This Reapout deck, it looks really, really nice, especially if we consider that during KOTE 7, jumping your blasters between creatures was allowed. Why it was allowed? Because there was some rulings that were ambiguous, and people choose their decks on this basis. So it's really not nice to change rulings during the tournament. That's why KOTE decided to leave it as it was during the time when everybody was choosing their decks. So let's take a look. Double Kirby blasters, double com officers Kirby's. That's something we would really want to see in a nice deck. But actually, there is more. We have pretty strong logos. Double interdimensional grafts means that your opponent cannot go above the 6 or maybe 7 Ember during his or her turn. Total Vapors could just, draw us some nice cards and then archive something for, later time. Also, it works really well with Eddy to make our opponent's keys, a little bit more expensive. Also, there is this hidden combo here when you just pump your Eddy and then draw all your cards from your archives just to play interdimensional graft and then gain all this excess Ember after your opponent forges a key. And this. I'm not a fan of this in Worlds Collide. Apart from the obvious E on the fringes and a lot of archiving combo. But here, I could say that this is a playable diss. Triple exhumes using our officer Kirby's to one officer Kirby to play exhume, the second to take the second one from the discard pile, then play some Kirby blasters, then jump this Kirby blasters between these two little creatures and draw an insane amount of cards. That's something I would love to say. I would love it to happen during the match. But yeah, we will see. Also, in fairness, like the meta-defining card from the Worlds Collide set, it's really nice to see one, but it's always nice to see a lot more of them. Road grabs, they are also pretty okay, but overall, this deck looks pretty nice. 89 SAS, yeah. It must come from something. A lot of speed, a lot of Ember generation, especially if we consider that this speed means that it could draw a lot more cards, it could play a lot more cards during the player's turn. We could sometimes multiply this Ember generation, Ember control times 2 or maybe times 1.5 just to remember that we will be probably playing our whole deck more than once. On the other side, we see Tor Il Grigio. That's an old deck. Why it's an old deck? Because it's a deck from Call of the Archons. So looking at this deck list, I would say that it was probably one of the top decks in the early days of Keyforge. A lot of good cards. Double Too Much to Protect. Pretty nice combo here with the Sting. Also Urchin, which could work. It would prevent our opponent from forging and then collect all excessive Ember from his or her pool. So that's pretty nice. Also Miasma. Not so good with the Sting here, but it's still really okay if you do not draw the Sting during your game. This deck could have some troubles with drawing because the only stable draw I see here is the Holding Pit, and it benefits both players, so that's not something I would play every matchup, especially here when we see that our opponent is actually he's like 5 times faster than us. It just, counting the efficiency numbers here, we don't want to pump that. Also, triple Fogify's. I'm not sure that it's so good. If Keyforge would be a deconstructing game, I wouldn't play free Fogifys, despite it's always a number. But I believe here we could use this Fogifys to keep our Ganymede archivists and to keep our Tolas on the board, and also Ember Imp. Ember Imp could be a crucial card here. If our opponent does not have any way to respond to Ember Imp, it could force him to play some mediocre rounds, to play only 2 cards, or maybe sometimes to it forces us to remove this card, this creature from the table, from the board, before we play any meaningful plays here. So to keep this Ember Imp longer, apart from Fogifys, we could see double Life Wards. That's like a really nice combo to keep your opponent's creatures off the table after you play Gateway of this, which is always also here. If our opponent some way happens to control our Ember Imp and destroys it, we could always play a Rise and take all our creatures from our discard pile to our hand, which is really nice with Shulers, and Shulers are like premium this creature with nice play effect. We could take back Tentacus, not so efficient, but some kind of way to control our opponent artifacts, and also Ember Imp. One premium card I see here is Creeping Oblivion. It was underrated in the KOTE set because there was no decks were not so fast as they are now. They were not so efficient, I could say, and also the interaction with this card pile was not so so abundant. Of course, we got Nepenthe Seeds, but Creeping Oblivion now could purge our greatest fears from our opponent's discard pile, or we could always purge our own cards, our own creatures that we don't want to see. For example, Dexter. I would purge my own Dexter because it could be a trashy card in at the top of our deck. So overall, looking at these decks, I would say that this matchup could be I would say that this matchup could be really hard to decide, because right here we see a nice, fast, efficient deck on the left side from the Reapout team, and on the other side we see let's say well-rounded deck from the old days of Keyforge. But I would say that new is always better, and here I would say that it's 70-30. So it's from, let's say, 100 games, 70 of these games would be won by the Reapout team deck, and only 30% of the games would be won by Tor. Okay, so let's check out the second matchup.
Hello, thank you for Can't Touch This for a brilliant deck breakdown. We're going in with Dave Brazel versus Danielle 90RM. I mean, look at his opening hands. Daniel's got a Tolus and an Ember Imp. Dave's going to slam down that Kirby. Has to be a perfect opening one play into Telltale Vapors just to get it going. And draws into the Kirby's Blaster off the Telltale Vapors.
Jeez, that's wow.
I
do
think
you
that's
respond to
Kirby's
it?
Blaster. It's quite hard to see.
It is Kirby's Blaster.
Can't touch this. Going for the support on Daniello. I don't know how you pronounce it. Daniel. Okay. The temptation to just gateway to diss a Kirby
It's not that high, to be fair.
when the deck's got double blaster.
Maybe.
The temptation's got to be there, especially if you're going into diss anyway. JB's asking if he plays the gateway.
I can tell you haven't edited this one down much.
No, yeah, this game was quite quick, so I haven't done much anything. Just drops the Seeker Needle.
Interesting.
Wants Dave to overextend the board. Drops the Blaster, draws 2 cards, both of which he got an Exhume. Gets the Queen Can. Drops Queen Can. Now, Queen Can's going to be beautiful here, because as long as they don't call Shadows or Starlights, the Steel Train is on. JB saying it's the 100% correct choice to blow up that Kirby right now.
Yeah.
The main problem with that, JB, is the double Exhume in hand.
Yeah,
Plays
but
that,
you don't know
gets the
that as
five.
the opponent doesn't know there's double zoom in hand.
Yeah, but you know that they're in the deck.
Yeah, but at the start of the game, if you I don't know, I'd say
Drops
If
the
it's half-
holographone off the Kirby and gets to 6. No answer from Daniel on that, but the gateway to disc comes down.
yeah.
Discards the Tolus and gets the Imber Imp. Life Ward
First-
could.
first
The
keys
Life
done.
Ward after the gateway is going to be painful.
The too
So-
much touch has appeared in his hand, though he used a little chains.
2 chains left, too much to protect, but Dave has just forged the first key.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be Exhume into Queen Can, Exhume into Kirby, and just he drops the Evil Eye, plays the Rock Group to lose Amber, Exhume, bring back Kirby, play the Graft, gets a free, holds the Exhume.
Interesting.
I think it's a case of wanting to keep Kirby alive even further. Seeker needles the Rock Group to game 1. Drops the Dodger, too much to protect. So Daniel's back on the board with a little bit of amber, but Dave has currently got the momentum in hand.
Yeah, Eli comes in, Eddie.
Igor comes in.
Igor, Eddie. It's a long day. Igor, Edie, and then Wormhole Technician. That's what I'm trying to say.
The Wormhole Technicians and the Edie are always a beautiful synergy. I love to see that come down.
Oh, and the Infernus comes through.
Takes an Infernus, drops the Dedrix and another card, drops the Edie, archives up the Star Alliance, drops the Wormhole Technician and says, "Here's my train," and wards the Edie. Can go Shadows here, pop the ward on the Edie, use Dodger to take it out, play the second too much to protect, and drop the Urchin, which gets you to 1, 2, 3, 5. Leaves you very vulnerable to Dave's current hand, but I thought Daniel can't see it. That's the correct play. You want that Edie off the board, especially the way it's going down. Dodger steals 1, Urchin steals another. Too much to protect, gets to 5, and Daniel has even now a little bit. Sting coming a little bit too late. You want to sort of catch up.
No.
JB, I'll have to check the Geneva Convention for what see if it contradicts what Cardiff does here. Plays Infernus, both too much to protect get taken out. And now Dave is just controlling this board. The double life wards are in hand, but without a way to get those creatures off the board, they're just chains.
I mean, I may have just played them that turn to get rid of them.
Possible. The discarding of the Dexter is interesting because there's nothing really on the board that you get punished for playing the Dexter. I think the hope is here that Dave's going to go to 6. Daniel will drop the Sting.
Yep.
And will essentially gain the Amber and at least get the key coming in. Plays Distania, no value for Distania, but it's a very good card to have. Reap. Ward up the Edai, and Dave's going to play the Graft because Boom loves to get ahead.
Sensibly, Sting comes down. But he's got to deal with the boards because you just played Logos and Reap for 8 or 6 or whatever.
Exactly. The lights out. Yeah, it has to go on the well-level technicians because it's just going to keep archiving, especially with so many creatures down. So Dave forges. Imagine if he'd held that Graft here.
Always the way. Yeah, there we go. 2 well technicians come down. Reap for everything else.
Yeah, you pretty much treat everything else, and there's nothing on board. Daniel doesn't get to forge due to the Sting. Reaps up to 6, and it's unfortunate that Daniel just didn't get the cards in the correct order. There's the pull, and Reapout take the first game. Unfortunately, there's no after-game interviews on these games. The C. La Femela team